Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Stellar Blade. Nier Automata meets Ninja Theory in this sleek action game. But is it more than a pretty face? No buts about it? Let's find out. Stellar Blade is a third-person character action game from Shift Up, the first console game from this Korean dev, where previously they were mostly in the mobile space. The story follows Eve, the presumed last survivor of a combat division, deployed to retake Earth, but the mission goes horribly wrong, so she ends up paired with Adam and a mechanic, Lily, to help a city of survivors and figure out what's actually going on. The story here has some interesting world building, but is bogged down by stilted dialogue and some weird translations, not to mention having quite a slow pace early on. What you're really here for is the combat. At least that's what I was here for. You guys might have been here for something else. I've seen other reviews comparing this game to Dark Souls, and I personally really don't agree. This is firmly in the flashy character action category. You have your usual strong and heavy attack chains, but the game wants you to be reactionary with an emphasis on perfect parries, enough of which will let you land a crit, timed dodges, and special dodge counters for super attacks. Hitting and parrying generates beta meter, which allows you to pull off special moves for high damage, and later you can burn beta as part of powerful combat chains. While I will admit it did feel a little off at first because of intentional button delay, and guard doesn't always combo cancel, once you get the hang of its rhythm, you'll be countering and dodging like Bayonetta, with bosses in particular being really engaging challenges. This is complemented by both a skill tree system to unlock new moves, and a light gear upgrade system, where you'll be equipping small passive upgrades. There's also like a billion outfits because we know why this game was made, and a few of them even look like real clothing someone might wear. Connecting the combat is a mix of linear areas and two larger open zones that the game wants you to revisit for side quests and collectibles, of which there are tons. Like all modern games, you have a scan to actually be able to find stuff in the environment, the main thing being dead bodies that contain key codes or lore, as well as plenty of loot for upgrades. And that's Stellar Blade, an action game with some Neo-esque combat, Nier Automata inspiration, and large aspirations. So what did I like about Stellar Blade? Well, the combat, once it clicks, is really fantastic. As mentioned, it's Team Ninja-esque, in that you're expected to be aggressive and weave parries and dodges into your combat chains. Your upgrades and kit also evolve at a near-perfect pace, which make you feel progressively more powerful, and the bosses are just fantastic. Additionally, the loop of exploration and side quests, while being the same structure for nearly every single PlayStation exclusive these days, complements the combat well in that there's lots of side quests to do and areas to re-explore. And lastly, this is a very pretty game, and it runs really well on PS5, hitting 60 FPS with high resolutions more often than not, but more importantly, a lot of the art direction, and especially the music, is really gorgeous. When it comes to the bad, that story, particularly the dialogue and translation, really did not work for me. While I'll admit some of the world building is interesting, the characters really suffer with stilted dialogue and subdued personalities, and since you can't skip cutscenes, I had to suffer through all of it. Additionally, while I did find the combat to be excellent, I got a bit tired of the loop as the game recycled enemies fairly often in its latter portions and made the busywork style of open world traversal and checklists feel less fun and more like a chore. The second large area in particular really drained me. And lastly, the layout of the world in terms of traversal and exploration is pretty meh, with most of the game being linear, with me wondering why there were so many large open areas and a lot of that yellow paint platforming that really is starting to feel tired. It doesn't help that most of the puzzles are just find the body with the key code, which isn't exactly engaging. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And rating Stellar Blade actually was kind of hard for me. On the one hand, the combat is fantastic, the game looks and runs well, and has some absolutely thrilling bosses. On the other, the glue holding most of it together is painfully average, particularly the story and characters not landing. Regardless, I do think if you like character action games, you should check out Stellar Blade, as that portion of it absolutely shines. But if you're already overloaded by this genre, seeing as Rise of the Ronin and Other Crab's Treasure just came out, then there's definitely no shame in waiting for a sale or the inevitable PlayStation Plus release. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of Stellar Blade? Did it live up to your expectations, or was it all just skin deep? Please let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, go out there, and if you like character action games, give this one a look.